Mataji, Shri Nirmala Devi Namo. Om Swameva Sakshat, Shri Kalki Sakshat, Shri Adi Shakti Mataji, Shri Nirmala Devi Namo. Om Swameva Sakshat, Shri Kalki Sakshat, Shri Saraswar Swami Moksha Pradayini Mataji, Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namo.
It is so great to be with you people today on this auspicious day, to be with Australians who have proved to be very good Sahajogis and who have progressed in a very speedy manner. In their spiritual life. It gives me greatest pleasure to be with my children here. As you know, I have so many children all over the world. Apart from the one whom I actually physically gave birth. We have to think of all those today who are away from us, thousands of miles, praying to God Almighty for their spiritual ascent. One has to only pray for the spiritual ascent, because as you ascend, you get all the rest of it. Because you do not ascend, you do not get what is needed. That's why there are problems. And even today I had to solve some problems before I could come to Puja. But if you decide that we have to ascend spiritually within us, then everything that you have to receive, all the blessings that God wants to shower upon you, to make you the citizen of His great kingdom, where you are no more judged, you are no more chastised, you are no more put to any test, but where you reside in eternal love of God and in His glory. I could not believe about 10 years back that within 10 years I'll be able to achieve this result. You should not judge the progress of Sahaja Yoga in relation to other plastic gurus. Even to create one saint, we require 1,000 lives to pass. And so many have become prophets. It's a very big thing for us. Let us forget about what dents we have within ourselves. We have to know that we are prophets. This assumption has to be established, that we are prophets. If you could just assume what you are, what you have become, you will emit the glory of God. Like a flower, when it blossoms, it has its fragrance which flows automatically. But it's only human beings who have freedom even not to assume, to dramatize, or to assume what they are. Even if they have become prophets, they still linger on with what they are not in imagination and are still frightened, are still ego oriented. It's false. It's not your true nature. It's like acting in a drama, becoming the actor. Like somebody is acting like Shivaji. So he becomes as if he is Shivaji. So whole lifestyle, everything changes, he becomes Shivaji. But the same person, if he is acting like Hitler, he becomes like Hitler. Both are artificial. But artificial, they become. Now when you are really prophets, you find it difficult to be the real person, what you are. But artificial, which is gone back, which is no more there. All finished. The sinner is dead. The egoistical is not there. The frightened one is gone forever. You are a prophet. Rise in the glory of that personality. People who are not prophets, who are not godly, who are doing anti-God activities, can assume to be prophets. But those who are really prophets do not want to assume the situation that they are. As soon as you assume, you become. We must today get over this kind of a play our mind has been doing so far. All falsehood has to drop out. Of course, as I said, I could never have dreamt that in 10 years I'll achieve these results. With so many devils around us to entice you. I'm afraid it must go to you people also. That despite all hurdles and problems you had, you have ascended. Ascended so far and have become beautiful prophets. You are so transformed that little more, just to assume what you are, will make you feel so sweet. I talked to my granddaughter, elder one. She's just a little girl, only 11 years of age. But she told her mother, now I can't talk to Nani because she's a goddess. How can I talk to her? I feel shy. At that age. While in her own life, as they are saying, she stopped in all the class. She's the editor in a magazine in her school. She's tremendous. And she's so humble that she told her mother, I feel shy to talk to Nani. She's a goddess. How can I talk to her? And Rustam told me that there are vibrations emitting from her. That's how you have to be. First of all, you have to know your prophets, and you must know that I am the Holy Ghost. I am the Adishan. I am the one who has come on this earth for the first time in this form to do this tremendous task. The more you will understand this, the better it will be. You will change tremendously. I knew I'll have to say that openly one day. And we have said it. But now it is you people who have to prove it that I am that. Christ had disciples who were not even realized souls. And they have spread Christianity, whatever it is. Under such circumstances that Christ was crucified, they were left high and dry. Just 12 people struggling, but they put it up. They were very humble. Their quality was they are extremely humble. And they knew the difference between them and Christ and the Mother. Also they knew the difference between them and the others. And they took to lives which were pure, illumined by the name of Christ. They were not realized souls. They cleansed themselves and kept their lives beautiful. So Sahajogis can't afford to have these 6 enemies. First of all, the temper, which really doesn't behold compassion. Replace temper with compassion. Today is 60th birthday and we have to just fight only 6 enemies within ourselves. Second is, which most of you have done, is to retract your attention from perversion. Most of you have done it. Your eyes are better now, steady. But still, you are egoistic. Vanity. Still, people are jealous, competitive. You still have some lurking materialism. A new thing that is coming, you are getting attached to your families. So, we have to change it now in a different use. Same thing can be used for doing God's work. They can be used as the 6 hands of surgeons. The first one is the anger. You have to be angry with yourself when you do wrong things. And not to feel guilty but angry with yourself for doing wrong things. Guilty is the best way never to get rid of it. It's like a storehouse kept for personal archives, locked up. I have suffered a lot because of your guilty business, very much. And they come out one by one. So you have to be angry with yourself when you feel guilty. How can I feel guilty? Why did I do such a thing? I am not going to do it. So develop your anger against yourself and not against others. And anger could be reserved for the day of war. Otherwise, when the war will break out, all the Arjunas will drop their weapons, and it will be said that Arjuna was a great warrior till the war started. So we are not going to waste our energy in warring with things which are just like shadows, not to fight the shadows. Sex, the perversion has to be diverted towards your family, your wife, and you have to respect your chastity now. The whole thing becomes nothing but chastity. Lead a chaste life. Not to be like a dog, but like to be like a human being. All that attention has to become chastity, which is your power, which is your protection, which is your connection with the divine. Not forced chastity, but a chastity of balance and understanding. With your family, with your wife, in a very chaste way you can live. Same with women. It's more for women, I would say, that they should not join hands with other men who talk against your husbands or who teach you against your husbands. All such men should be thrown out of Sahaja Yoga who try to tell women against their husbands. This is a very sanctum sanctorium, place where you should not interfere against the husband. Nobody has right. If there is any problem, you should let me know. It is a sign of stupidity. Then the vanity must be made into pride. You should be proud that you are Sahajogis. Really proud. Raise your heads with pride that we are Sahajogis. Pride is never oppressive. It's a glorious thing to be proud. But vanity is. Actually, pride is nothing but the expression of self-esteem. Begging, borrowing, mimicry, all these things come from the less understanding of yourself. So vanity should be the pride, and the pride should be the expression of self-esteem. Self-esteem is very different from ego. One is reality, another is complete artificiality. Men now should behave like men and not like women, docile, like cows, to be tied with a rope wherever the women want them. They have to leave the society. For the women's right in India, the women never fought, it's the men. They never fought, it's the men, because men are also the fathers, the brothers, and they are concerned about the well-being of women. Women seldom fought there because they knew once they start politics of this fighting with men, there's no end to it. This is basically they knew they have to live with men, they can't fight them. But men themselves fought. Even in America, it was Abraham Lincoln who fought for the liberation of women, not women. So you have to be not egoistical, but proud. Proud that you are Sahajogis, proud that you are born on such a time when you have to carry on the duties of God's work. That God has chosen you, so that you should come up to that level. Like some people I find suddenly become morose, recluses in Sahajayoga. They will never be forgiven because God has given you so much. Supposing somebody gives you a diamond, you are proud, you put it on and show off. But when you have been given your spirit, you should be proud and not to behave like recluses. Some people feel I should not do any job now. I'll not go out, I'll sit at home and meditate. There's no place for such people in Sahaja. I can't do this. The word can't go should go away from the dictionary of people who are supposed to be Sahajogis. They just can't say I can't do it. So the self-esteem will give you that kind of a dynamism which is needed for Sahaja. A discreet dynamism, a wise dynamism. I won't have to solve your problems anymore. The quality of competition and jealousy should be brought down. There should be competition between yourself, what you wear and what you are. Who wins? Whether you are past or present. Your present should go fast, faster and faster, leaving this past behind as much as you can. There should be no competition between Sahajogis. In acquisition, sometimes I have seen also competition in shouting, screaming and being harsh to others. There's a big competition on. Let us have competition in compassion, in mildness, in sweetness, in beautiful behavior. Who is more cultured? Who is more gentlemanly? Who is deeper? Keep somebody an ideal before like that, whom you think is a very gentlemanly person, or a lady who is really like a lady. But on the contrary, if you have a lady who behaves like a man as your ideal, that is also not all right. Or a man who behaves like a woman, that's also not ideal. Or the other way around. A woman who tries to show that women are different from men and women must get this, that is in Sahaja Yoga there is nothing like women and men, that women must get this and man must get that because you are spirit. But the cover that you have, the body that you have, the light you have, the lamp that you have is a different thing. And to keep the light on, a woman has to be a woman and man has to be a man. As I told you that an apple should not try to be a mango and mango should not try to be an apple. It looks nice to be the best apple and looks nice to be the best mango. So the recluses, those who say that you want to get out of it, behave really not like human beings, but I think like, I don't know what animals do that way. Like when you get your doles, you cannot become indolent. Cannot. As far as possible, I don't like people taking doses. Not a sign of good surgeries. You all should be hardworking, you must have qualifications, you should be good people. On top of it, good students, good cooks, good mothers, good fathers, good administrators. From where are we going to get these people? We cannot be dishwashers, can we? So the competition between women and men must be stopped. Women must have their own place and men must have their own place. And women must know that men are their hands. If you are the Shakti, they are the machines. And don't kill your machine by shouting at them, by screaming at them, and by putting them down, making them defiant. You will have no place. You have to encourage them to do God's work. You have to support them, look after them, because they are the machine, they are the hands, and you are the power. Of course, if these hands go against the power, they will suffer. So there should be no competition between children and you, my child and his child. There should be not such competition. Take out your mind from there. There should be complete sharing. So the competition should end in sharing. How much we share? How much can we share? See, drunkards can't sit and drink alone. They have to have some people to share. The thieves must have 10 people to thieve. But when it comes to the nectar of God's love, how can we alone have it? Cannot enjoy. There's no enjoyment at all. So let us be gentle and kind with each other. The people who are going to enjoy the nectar should have competition in sharing that nectar by which they get more and more of that. Who shares more? Who is more generous? Materialism should be taken to its beauty. You can have one thing done with your hand. That's much more beautiful than running after money, counting money. You'll become crackpots. Really. Those who count their money morning till evening are real crackpots. They always lose money. There's something wrong with their brains. Count your blessings. See life, the beauty in matter. How life has worked. See a book I see the pattern it has created on the life. But it's not morose. It's not dead. It's not insipid. It's bubbling. You can see in art. You can see in all that is beautiful. The reflection of God's creative power and the joy that He wanted to emit for your happiness. While you become slaves of matter, He never wanted you to be that. You are the masters. Last of all is the attachment to your children, to your wife. Your. Whatever is mine is not I. my house, that's not I. My this, my must be given up. Mamatva is to be destroyed. Instead of that, you should say we. We is a good word. I so many times say we, and people start wondering one day. Somebody asked him, Mother, when you say we, what do you mean? How can you make us feel that way, that we are all one, the way you say we? I said, why not? You are part and parcel of my body. Aren't we we? Do I separate my finger from my heart? If you are part and parcel of my body, then I have to talk like we because I am conscious of this collective being sitting here. So we have to talk like we and not I, my. And when you have to address about yourself, speak it in a third person. Like you can say, this Nirmala is now going to London. Really, it's true. Because this body is going there, but my heart is going to remain here. So to say that I am going is not true. If I am Adi Shakti, where am I going? I am going nowhere. I am everywhere. Where can I go? There's no place where I don't reside. And if I have to go to such a place, is hell only where I don't want to go. So, what I say that this Nirmala is going now, leaving Australia. Tomorrow I'll be. So, what happens? Just this body has to move. That's all. Like that, you start saying about your body, this mind of mine, this mind of Mr. So-and-so. It's better to address yourself Mr. or Mrs. or Miss. So, Miss, will you please get up now? Better address yourself. Children talk like that, like a third person. You'll be amazed. You will see the joke behind the whole thing. He'll know how to laugh at yourself. Oh, so, mister, come along. Now he is behaving like this. And you'll really become a master of yourself because you know how to handle this baby. It will give you that sense of maturity. So to say, this is my child, this is my wife, of course you have to look after your wife and your children because they are your responsibility. But do for other children more than you would like to do for your own child. If somebody was gone. So, this complete identification with your children, overprotectiveness will give you trouble. You have to believe that your family is the family of your father and your mother is looking after. If you think you can look after your family by yourself, go ahead. So don't be overprotective, don't be too worried, too upset about your family. and keep a very sociable temperament so that your children also don't become like you. Tell them how to share. If one child has fallen off, ask other children to help. Form plays in which you should show how a child who is coming, who cannot walk properly, how other children go and try and find out methods how to help him to come out. Teach them through dramas, through stories, through various things what is goodness is. You must help even without the idea of help. It's a pleasure, it's a privilege, it's a great honor that you can do. We must change our ideas completely. Many people have a habit to serve your child first. Is absurd, absolutely very vulgar. Shows bad breeding. Must serve others first and then your own family. Keeping something back for your children, hiding some food for your children is all a sign of a person who is like a Kupa Manduka, means a frog who lives in a small well. Get over it. Try, men, to form your own group of men, and women should form their group of women. There should be no instruction to women from men too much. It's not proper. I have discovered so many funny things. I can't understand how these things work out. But it is because one side you feel your family is too much, your husband is too much, you must be absolutely secluded from all the rest. Or on the other side, it is that you give up your husband completely, he is no good, the marriage is unsuccessful, stick on to something else which is supposed to be a something higher goal of destruction. So both things are not good. You must stand for your husband or wife or for your children when it is right. But obviously you should not do it. Apparently you should not do it. You should tell your child, all right, I understand, but I don't want to do it in the public. People should not also know that he is your child. The way he mixes up with others, stays with others, shares with others, that's a Sahaja Yogi should be. You know, as for myself, I have not even given realization to my children so far. Can you believe it? Leave alone the knowledge of Kundalini. You can teach them. I know I can give them any time I want. I have not given them time at all. No time to them. If you see, how much time do I spend with my own daughters? Very little time. In the whole year. This year I was there for 3 days with her. So the relationship at this time is the most important is of Sahaja Yoga and Sahaja Yogis. I've seen some Sahaja Yogis write to their parents, to their mothers, to their brothers, much more than they write to the other Sahaja Yogis. It's very amazing. To their fathers, but not to other Sahaja Yogis. You must start writing to other Sahaja Yogis. Those who have lived in London, how many of them are writing to people in London? Have they made any friends or anything? Nothing of the kind. They are so busy with their own problems. They are not bothered to create that bondage of love. As if they have no interest in Sahaja Yoga. They stayed in the ashram in London. How many of you are writing letters to them? To London people. How many letters do you write? Now you have met them in this program. How many of you are writing letters to them and keeping contact? How much does it take to write a letter? Nothing. I hope as soon as you go back today, you all should write letters about today's birthday, how it was celebrated in a beautiful way, not to your family, not to your people, but to others. All of them are all over. You know how they are. You write to them because you know they are heads of the thing. Like if you write to Gregor, or you can write to Ruth in Italy, you can write to Genevieve in Geneva. You have met all of them. You should write. Ladies must write to ladies and men must write to men. Arno is in Lausanne. Why not write to him? He's there. Now, do you know that his wife has to go to America for a delivery? We should know about each other very intimately. How many people I know? So many things, all the details. That's how. You must flood yourself with that love. Tomorrow you go to America or to any one of these places. You have there your brothers and sisters already established. Write to them about your mother, what you think. You only write to me sometimes, but never to each other. Don't write too big letters, to me especially. But write nice, sweet letters, poetic letters. They'll feel happy. It's like sending flowers. Taking ideas from there. It will be a very good idea. What's the matter? Thus will overcome these 6 enemies and make them your slaves and use them for your purposes. Then they'll become great things. They'll be your assistants. Then they will be your commanders of your army. They'll be your decorations. It is all in your hand. With wisdom, you have to do it. At this time, at the age where I have reached, I was always there, same age. I've been always matured like this, child like this, just like a young girl and an old woman, all put together, every year, every time. But I've definitely matured in understanding human beings. I've definitely got better understanding and maturity as far as my knowledge about human beings are concerned, because they are, when I was born, they were strangers to me, just strangers. Imagine that Adi Shakti should say this, but it's true. Despite I have created you, I was absolutely a stranger. But now I have grown, I have understood you very well. I know you are my children. I know how much you love me and how much you are close to me. Why is he crying so much?
He wants to go to the toilet, Mum.
Let him take away.
He wants me to go with him, and I'm trying to say he can do it himself.
Let him go. This is the thing. You see, these children are very obstinate, I personally think.
Yeah. He wants me to go with him. That's the thing.
That's it. That's brutish, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can see. Let him go.
Yeah.
He won't listen. Better go. See. Or I take him down. What to do, you see? They're very obstinate. The boots. Such a big boy can't go to the toilet. Just to disturb him, that's all. So you must daily slap him now. If you give 2 slaps now, his boot will go. 2 slaps are needed. Next time he won't do that. You see, at this time you must slap. Not very hard, but let him know that you don't like it. Boots sometimes can go away only with slapping. I have seen, especially with children, it happens. 2 slaps on the face and they are alright. Because they are boots, you see, and they have to go away. Now, whatever I have said to you yesterday for children, be careful. You have to make your children assets and not liabilities on Sahaja Yoga. So try to train them up properly. Bring them up. They deserve a good hand to handle. In the beginning, you have to be very strict and punish them if they do anything wrong. So they know what is right, what is wrong. And once they grow up, you will be amazed what an asset they are. Some of them are very good children. But if the influence of the bad children comes up too much, they might spoil the good children also. So better encourage children who are good, who have been very sweet. So I think of my young age, of my childhood, and the dream, how it has come true. Whatever I have dreamt is beyond my imagination. It's done now. As far as I am concerned, you don't need me much anymore. I have told you whatever was needed for your counseling. I have taught you the methods how to redeem others and comfort them. You know everything. Now just become masters in this art. Forgetting your past. You are all great people. All of you. So, even next year, I should see you sitting on this seat. Not in my lap. On your own. Teaching your children. Let the second generation start now. The first generation is ready. Now the second generation has to come and you have to look after the second generation. I want to be a real grandmother of very grandchildren. That's a special privilege and real promotion and maturity. Look at this. He's going to flood your Paramata. Because I have said now I am the Holy Ghost. Everybody seems to be over happy and joyous. So thank you very much for having me here. And think of all the Sahajogis all around the world, all of them. Today, I think we should send some telegrams, about 12 telegrams if possible, to all the centers saying, 60th birthday of Mother was celebrated with great joy. She sends blessings or something. They'll be very happy. But according to Indian method, it is 61st. Because the day I was born, that was also a birthday. That was a real birthday. So they call it 61. And we are going to have a big program in India also. You are specially favored people. And I hope you'll favor me specially too. This year, I hope all of you are going to take up a new role and a new style of life where you become mild. Not docile men, but mild people and docile women. Women have to be more docile, domesticated. They'll look nice. They'll become gentle, they smile better. They create such joy. We are here to create joy and not to enjoy some rites which are artificial. To create joy. How much joy do we create? How much joy do we give to others? So today, on this great occasion, we have to feel our joy within our heart. Very deep down within us lies that source of joy. So we have to go deep down within ourselves and feel the joy of the 60-year-old mother of yours that I have within myself. Go deep down. It's there. Enjoy it and then give it to others. Like a fountain of joy you should live. May God bless you. Declare to all the nations now that I am the Holy Ghost and I have come for this special time, that is the resurrection time.
Jai Mataji.
Jai Mataji.
Which is this record? The chair was made in England, and we brought it back with us. We found it in Delhi in a workshop in Prince Colony.
Nicely done, madam. But I would suggest you should use what you call this paper.
Temple. They've been over it once completely. It is very rough.
The mantra, yes, qualification. But which, just
What the
Ganesh.
names of Nirmala?
Nirmala, no, we don't have that. We haven't given it.
They have written them, but they have not written them in English.
Ganesh mantras. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ganesh Devi Saraswati Mahakali Trivanatmika Kundalini Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah.
Shri Ganesh is not here.
Let's start the children walking.
Shri Ganesh.
Let the children come in and walk.
Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ganesh Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ganesh Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ganesh Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah.
Let our ears hear that which is true. Let our eyes see that which is pure. Let our beings praise that which is divine. And let those who listen hear not my voice, but the wisdom of God. Let us worship with the auspicious song, with the appropriate strength, and the propitious knowledge, and let our meditation enlighten and enrich. Let there be amongst us compassion and peace. Now the prayer. Salutation, Shri Ganesh, Sakshat Shri Jesus, Sakshat Shri Nirmala Devi, Namo Namaha. It is you who is the beginning of all beginnings. It is you who is the doer of all deeds which have been done, are being done, and will be done. It is you who supports all things that are supported. It is you who protects all things that are protected. It is you who is the complete, all-pervading Spirit, God's divine energy. Think clearly, brain. Speak only the truth. Let your presence, awakened in us by Kundalini, speak. Let your presence, awakened in us by Kundalini, listen. Let your presence, awakened in us by Kundalini, bless. Let your presence, awakened in us by Kundalini, protect. Let your presence, awakened by Kundalini in us, your disciples, be the disciple. You are the essence of all the sacred literature and holy words, and you are the energy that understands the holy words. You are the divine combination of complete truth, complete joy, and complete energy. And you are beyond. You are all knowledge, and you are the use to which the knowledge is put. You exist until the end of all things, and after the end of all things you are. You create the end of all things, and after the end of all things you remain indifferent. You are the earth, you are the water, you are the fire, you are the air, and you are the space above the air. You are the gunas, and you are beyond the gunas. You are the body, and you are beyond the body. You are the essence of time, and you are beyond time. You and only you exist at the Muladhara chakra. You are the spirit, and you are beyond the spirit. And those who would join God meditate upon you. You are Brahman, Vishnu, Rudra. You are Indra, Agni, Vayu. You are the sun at noon. You are the full moon. You are all of these and more. You are the all-pervading energy of innocence and wisdom. You are the divine servant who stoops to wash the feet of saints. You are the tiny core of all things without which the larger have no purpose. You are the key to the libraries of all the scriptures, without which the truth is hidden. You are the full stop which completes the sentence and without which the sentence loses its meaning. You are the crescent moon, you are the stars, and you are beyond the stars. All things, from tiny dot to universe, is you. You are the future and beyond the future. You are in all forms. You are where the sounds combine. You are the silence between the sounds. You are the rhythm of all music and all prayers. This is the knowledge of Nirmal Ganesh, and you, Nirmal Ganesh, are the master of that knowledge and all knowledge. You are the God, and you are the Goddess. Om Gyam Nirmal Ganapatai. To your powers, Ganesha, let all surrender. Let the left side of memory and the right side of action surrender to you, and let your enlightenment prevail. Your first tooth you have, and 4 hands, one holding a rope, the second a goad, the third is raised in blessing, and the fourth offers sustenance. Your banner is that of a humble mouse. You have long ears and are clothed in red. Red decorates you, and you are worshipped with red flowers. You have compassion for those who love you, and it is for those who love you that you come to this earth. You are the force that creates, the energy that pervades, and the spirit that protects. Those who seek union with God pray through you. Those who seek union with God worship you. Om Gyam Nirmal Jesusye. To you, powers, Om Jesus, let all surrender. Let the left side of memory and the right side of action surrender to you, and let your enlightenment prevail. You are the word that was the beginning. You are the word that will be the ending. You are he who was born of a virgin and died on the cross. You are he who absorbs all sins and who died to live again. You are God and man, and you are worshipped with red flowers. You have compassion for those who love you, and it is for those who love you that you have come to this earth. You are the force that creates, the energy that pervades, and the spirit that protects. Those who seek union with God pray through you. Those who seek union with God worship you. Shri Ganesh, salutation to you. Shri Jesus, salutation to you. He who is the beginning of all worship, salutation to you. He who destroys all the powers of evil, salutation to you. Sakshat, son of Lord Shiva, who is unending blessings, salutation to you. Sakshat, son of Mary Mataji, who is unending love, salutation to you. Sakshat, Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi, who is unending joy, salutation to you.
You are Svaha and Svadha. You are verily Vasadkara, and embodiment of Svara. You are the nectar. O You are the nectar. O eternal and imperishable one, you are the embodiment of the threefold matra. You are half a matra, though eternal. You are verily that which cannot be uttered specifically. You are Savitri, the Supreme Mother of the Devas. By you this universe is born, by you this world is created. By you it is protected, O Devi, and you always consume it at the end. O you who are always of the form of the whole world, at the time of creation you are of the form of the creative force. At the time of sustentation you are of the form of protective power, and at the time of dissolution of the world you are of the form of the destructive power. You are the supreme knowledge, as well as the great nescience, the great intellect and contemplation, as also the great delusion, the great Devi, as also the great Asuri. You are the primordial cause of everything, bringing into force the three qualities. You are the dark night of periodic dissolution. You are the great night of final dissolution, and the terrible night of delusion. You are the goddess of good fortune, the ruler, modesty, intelligence, characterized by knowledge, bashfulness, nourishment, contentment, tranquility and forbearance, armed with sword, spear, club, discus, conch, bow, arrows, slings and iron mace. You are terrible, and at the same time you are pleasing, yea, more pleasing than all the pleasing things and exceedingly beautiful. You are indeed the supreme Ishvari, beyond the high and low. And whatever or wherever a thing exists, conscient, real, or non-conscient, unreal, whatever power, all that possesses is yourself. O you who are the soul of everything, how can I extol you more than this? By you, even he who creates, sustains and devours the world is put to sleep. Who is here capable of extolling you? Who is capable of praising you? Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Bhagwati Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah.
Namo Devye Mahadeve Shivaye Satatam Namaha Namaha Prakritye Bhadraye Niyataha Pranataha Ramatam.
Salutation to the Devi, to the Mahadevi. Salutation always to her who is ever auspicious. Salutation to her who is the primordial cause and the sustaining power. With attention we have made obeisance to her.
I think you read the translation first and then you see it has a better meaning. Now you read the second part.
Salutation to her who is terrible, to her who is eternal. Salutation to Gauri, the supporter of the universe. Salutation always to her who is of the form of the moon, and the moonlight and happiness itself.
Raudraye Namo Nityaye Gaurye Dhatre Namo Namaha ज्योत्स्नाय चेन्दुरूपिण्ये सुखाय सततं नमः.
We bow to her who is welfare. We make salutations to her who is prosperity and success. Salutation to the consort of Shiva, who is herself the good fortune as well as misfortune of kings.
कल्याण्ये प्रणतः वृद्धे सिद्धे कर्मो कुर्मो नमो नमः. नैऋत्ये भूभृतां लक्ष्म्ये शर्वाण्ये ते नमो नमः.
Salutation always to Durga, who takes one across in difficulties, who is essence, who is the author of everything, who is knowledge of discrimination, and who is blue-black as also smoke-like in complexion.
दुर्गाये दुर्गापाराये साराये सर्वकारिण्ये ख्यात्ये तथैव कृष्णाये धूम्राये सततं नमः.
We prostrate before her, who is at once most gentle and most terrible. We salute her again and again. Salutation to her, who is the support of the world. Salutation to the Devi, who is of the form of volition.
अति सौम्यति रुद्राये नतस्तस्यै नमो नमः. नमो जगत प्रतिष्ठाये देव्ये कृत्ये नमो नमः.
Salutations again and again to the Devi, who in all beings is called Vishnu Maya.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु विष्णुमायति शब्दिता. नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Again, Vishnu Maya.
Yeah.
The translation, sorry. Salutations again and again to the Devi, who abides in all beings as consciousness.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु विष्णुमायति शब्दिता. नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
The next one, consciousness.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु चित्नेत्यभिधीयते. नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Salutations to the Devi, who abides in all beings in the form of intelligence.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु बुद्धिरूपेण संस्थिता. नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Salutations again and again to the Devi, who abides in all beings in the form of sleep.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु निद्रारूपेण संस्थिता. नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Salutations again and again to the Devi, who abides in all beings in the form of hunger.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शुद्धारूपेण संस्थिता. नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Salutations again and again to the Devi, who abides in all beings in the form of reflection.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु छायारूपेण संस्थिता. नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Salutation again and again to the Devi, who abides in all beings in the form of power.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता. नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Salutations again and again to the Devi, who abides in all beings in the form of thirst.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु तृष्णारूपेण संस्थिता. नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Salutations again and again to the Devi, who abides in all beings in the form of forgiveness.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शान्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Salutations again and again to the Devi who abides in all beings in the form of genus.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु जातिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Salutations again and again to the Devi who abides in all beings in the form of modesty.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु लज्जारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Salutations again and again to the Devi who abides in all beings in the form of peace.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शान्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Salutations again and again to the Devi who abides in all beings in the form of faith.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु श्रद्धारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Salutations again and again to the Devi who abides in all beings in the form of loveliness.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु कान्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Salutations again and again to the Devi who abides in all beings in the form of good fortune.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु लक्ष्मीरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Salutations again and again to the Devi who abides in all beings in the form of activity.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु वृत्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Salutations again and again to the Devi who abides in all beings in the form of memory.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु दयारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Salutations again and again to the Devi who abides in all beings in the form of compassion.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु दयारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Salutations again and again to the Devi who abides in all beings in the form of contentment.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु तुष्टिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Salutations again and again to the Devi who abides in all beings in the form of mother.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु मातृरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
Salutations again and again to the Devi who abides in all beings in the form of error.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु भ्रान्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
To the all-pervading Devi who constantly presides over the senses of all beings and governs all the elements.
Indriyana badhishta tri bhutanam chakilešu ya bhuteshu satatam tasye vyapti devyai namo namah.
Salutations again and again to her who, pervading this entire world, abides in the form of consciousness.
Chittirupenya krasname tattvapya sitha jagatan namastasye 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 namo namaha.
Invoked of yore by the Devas for the sake of their desired object and adored by the Lord of the Devas every day, may you, the Isvari, the source of all good, accomplish for us all auspicious things and put to an end our calamities.
Sutha sureha purvamapishta samshraya तथा सुरेन्द्रेण दिनेषु सेविता करोतु सा नः शुभहेतुरीश्वरी शुभानि भद्राण्यभिहन्तु च पदः साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति भगवती माताजी श्री निर्मला देवी नमो नमः.
Everybody's got access to a copy.
Yes, mother, they were here. From Melbourne? From Melbourne, Lee, you people. Are they here?
Yeah, they're here.
What do we like? Can't they raise them? It's okay.
You just go through. You won't need translation, or you don't need translation, or translation before.
Yeah,
Is this right? The 108 names of the Devi. First is the Sacred Mother. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mata Namo Namaha. The Great Empress. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Maharajni Namo Namaha. The great Devi who emerges for a divine purpose. She appears in her great splendor when all the divine forces are helpless and unable to eradicate wickedness. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Deva Kraya Samudyata Namo Namah. She is the one who is beyond Kula, that is beyond measurable dimensionality, who resides in the head at Sarastra. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Akula Namo Namaha. Salutations to she who cuts the knot of Maya, Shri Vishnu. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Vishnu Granti Vebedani Namo Namaha. Salutation to her who is Queen of Bhava, the giver of life to the whole universe. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Bhavani Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is fond of her devotees. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Bhakti Priya Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is realized by devotion. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Bhakti Gamya Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the giver of happiness, including divine bliss. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Samadayani Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is unsupported. She is the support of the universe. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirhadara Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is unstained by any limitations whatsoever. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Naranjara Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is untouched by various karmas and dualisms. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirlepa Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is pure. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirmala Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is faultless brilliance. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nishkalanka Saho Namaha. Salutations to her who is eternal. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nitya Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is formless. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirakara Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is unruffled. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirakula Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is attributeless, beyond the three gunas and the three nadis. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirguna Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is indivisible, complete. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nishkala Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who has nothing to desire, having everything. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nishkama Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is indestructible. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirapaplava Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is ever free, and her devotees who are ever free. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nitya Mukta Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is changeless, but is the unchanging basis of all changes. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nivakara Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who has no basis, as she is everything. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirishvara Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is undifferentiated. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirantara Namo Namaha. Salutation to her who is causeless, that is, the cause of all causes. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nishkarana Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is alone, without Maya, basis of plurality. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nurabhadri Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is supreme. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirishvara Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is unattached. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Niraga Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is prideless. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirmada Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is without any anxiety. Om Tvameva Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nischinta Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is without ego. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirahamkara Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is without any illusions, such as mistaking the unreal for the real. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mirmoha Namo Namaha.
If you have got eye, how can you mistake unreal for real? If you have got light, you have got eye, then you won't mistake. The light has to be there.
Salutations to her who is without selfishness. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirmala Namo Namaha. Salutation to her who is without ignorance. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirpapa Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is without doubts. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nisamsaya Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is unborn. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirbhava Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who has no mental activities. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirvakabha Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is untroubled. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirabadha Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is deathless. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirnasa Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is beyond all actions. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nishkriya Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who takes nothing, since she needs nothing. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nishparinana Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is unequaled. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nishchula Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is dark-haired. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nilachikura Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is beyond dangers. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nirapaya Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is impossible to cross or transgress. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Niratyaya Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who confers happiness or bliss or moksha, which is the bliss of liberation. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Sukhaparada Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is intensely compassionate to her devotees. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Sandra Guruna Namo Namaha. Salutations to the greatest of goddesses, the infinite. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahadevi Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is worshipped by the highest, by Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahapuja Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who destroys the greatest of sins. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahapataka Nashini Namo Namaha. Salutation to her who is the great power. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahashakti Namo Namaha. Salutation to her who is the supreme creator of illusion and confusion. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahamaya Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the greatest bliss. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Maharati Namo Namaha. Salutations to her whose form is of the universe. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Vishvarupa Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is seated in the lotuses, that is, the chakras. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Padmasana Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the matrix of the universe, worshipped by all, including gods. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Bhagavati Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the Saviour. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Rakshakari Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the slayer of evil forces. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Rakshasani Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the ultimate ruler. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Parameshwari Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is ever young. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Nitya Yovana Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is attained by the meretricious or righteous, who is worshipped as the result of good actions and previous births. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Punya Ladhya Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is inaccessible to thought, since mind, the instrument of thought, is her creation. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Achinta Rupa Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the ultimate power. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Parashakti Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the form of the Guru. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Guru Murti Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the primal power, being the first cause. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who gives yoga or union. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Agoda Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is alone. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ekakini Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who can be worshipped comfortably for the inner yoga. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Sukharadhya Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the easiest path to self-realization. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Romana Sulabha Granti Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is absolute truth, absolute attention, and absolute bliss. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Satchitananda Rupini Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is bashful modesty. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Laja Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the beneficent. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Sabhakari Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is angry with evil forces. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Kandika Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who assumes the form of the three gunas yet is above the form of the three gunas. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Trigunyatmika Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the great, immeasurable, supreme object of attention and worship. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahati Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the form of the divine breath of life. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Prana Rupini Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the ultimate atom. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Paramandu Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who destroys the bonds and gives liberation. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Pashanti Namo Namaha. Salutations to her whose devotees lead the battle against the evil forces. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Viramata Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is bottomless depth. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Gambhira Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is proud as the creatrix of the universe. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Gavita Namo Namaha. Salutation to her who showers grace on her devotees very quickly. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Krishna Prasadini Namo Namaha. Salutation to her whose ambrosial stream of bliss results from the meditation on the great goddess. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Sudha Shruti Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the support of right conduct. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Damodara Namo Namaha. Salutation to her who devours the universe at the ultimate dissolution. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Vishvarasa Namo Namaha. Salutation to her who is established in herself and established in her devotees. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Svasta Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is natural sweetness. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Swadhara Madhura Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is worshipped by the wise and brave, meaning that she cannot be worshipped by the cowardly and the stupid. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Dirma Samchita Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is of supreme generosity. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Paramodara Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is ever present. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Saraswati Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who transcends all created universes. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Lokatika Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the essence of peace. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Samatmika Namo Namaha. Salutations to her whose sport is the universe. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Leela Vinodini Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the sacred spouse of Sadashiva. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Sadashiva Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is nourishment. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Pushti Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is luminous like the moon. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Chandraneva Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is effulgent like the sun. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ravi Prakadya Namo Namaha. Salutations to her whose sacred form is the purest. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Pravanakuriti Namo Namaha. Salutation to her who has within her the entire universe. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Vishvagabi Namo Namaha. Salutation to her who is the power of consciousness which dispels ignorance and confusion. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Chit Shakti Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the silent witness of the action of the universe. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Vishvasakachini Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is clean, is pure, is untouched. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Vimala Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the giver of boons to the Trimurtis. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Varada Namo Namaha. Salutations to her whose pleasure is the universe. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Vilasini Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who is the element of success in all actions. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Vijaya Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who loves her devotees as her children. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Vanduru Jana Vatsala Namo Namaha. Salutations to her who grants spontaneous self-realization. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Sahaja Yoga Dayani Namo Namaha. Sakshat Shri Adishakti Bhagavati Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha.
some young girls, please. Unmarried young girls. Young ones.
O Devi, you who remove the sufferings of your supplicants, be gracious. Be propitious, O Mother of the whole world. Be gracious, O Mother of the universe. Protect the universe. You are, O Devi, the ruler of all that is moving and unmoving. You are the sole substratum of the world, because you subsist in the form of the earth. By you who exist in the shape of water, all this universe is gratified, O Devi of inviolable valor. You are the power of Vishnu and have endless valor. If you become gracious, you become the cause of final emancipation in this world. All laws are your aspects, O Devi. So are all women in the world endowed with various attributes. By you alone, the Mother, this world is filled. What praise can there be for you who are of the nature of primary and secondary expression regarding objects worthy of praise? When you have been lauded as the embodiment of all beings, the Devi, the effulgent one, and bestower of the enjoyment and liberation, what words, however excellent, can praise you? Salutation be to you, O Devi Narayani, O you who abide as intelligent in the hearts of all creatures and bestow enjoyment and liberation. Salutation be to you, O Narayani, O you who in the form of minutes, moments, and other divisions of time bring about change in things, and have thus the power to destroy the universe. Salutation be to you, O Narayani, O you who are the good of all good, O auspicious Devi, who accomplish every object, the giver of refuge, O three-eyed Gauri. Salutation be to you, O Narayani, you who have the power of creation, sustentation, and destruction, and are eternal. You are the substratum and embodiment of the three gunas. Salutation be to you, O Narayani, O you who are intent on saving the dejected and distressed that take refuge under you. O you, Devi, who remove the sufferings of all. Salutation be to you, O Narayani, O you who ride in the heavenly chariot yoked with swans and assume the form of Brahmani, O Devi, who sprinkle water with kusha grass. Salutation be to you, O Narayani, O you who bear the trident, the moon and the serpent, and ride a big bull, and have the form of Maheshwari. Salutation be to you, O Narayani, O you who are attended by peacock and cock, and bear a great spear, O you who are sinless, and take the form of Kaumari. Salutation be to you, O Narayani, O you who hold the great weapons of conch, discus, club and bow, and take the form of Vaishnavi, that be gracious. Salutation be to you, O Narayani, O you who grasp a huge, formidable discus, and uplift the earth with thy tusk, O auspicious Devi, who has a boar-like form. Salutation be to you, O Narayani, O you who in the fierce form of a man-lion put forth your efforts to slay the Daityas. O you who possess the benevolence of saving the three worlds. Salutation be to you, O Narayani, you who have a diadem and a great thunderbolt, dazzling with 1,000 eyes, and took away the life of Vritra, O Andri. Salutation be to you, O Narayani, O you who in the form of Shivadati slew the mighty hosts of the Daityas, O you of terrible form and loud throat. Salutation be to you, O Narayani, O you who have a face terrible with tusks and are adorned with the garland of heads, Kaumunda, O slayer of Munda. Salutation be to you, O Narayani, O you who are good fortune, modesty, great wisdom, faith, nourishment, and svadha. O you who are immovable, O you great night and great illusion. Salutation be to you, O Narayani, O you who are intelligence and Sarasvati, O best one, prosperity, consort of Vishnu, dark one, nature, be propitious. O Queen of all, you who exist in the form of all and possess every might, save us from error, O Devi. Salutations be to you, Devi Durga. May this benign countenance of yours, adorned with 3 eyes, protect us from all fears. Salutations be to you, O Katyayani. Terrible with flames, exceedingly sharp, destroyer of all the asuras, may your trident guard us from fear. Salutations be to you, O Bhadrakali. May your bell that fills the world with its ringing and destroys the prowess of the Daityas guard us, O Devi, as a mother protects her children from all evils. May your sword, smeared with the mire-like blood and fat of asuras, and gleaming with rays, be for our welfare, O Kandika. We bow to you. When satisfied, you destroy all illness, but when wrathful, You frustrate all the longed-for desires. No calamity befalls men who have sought you. Those who have sought you become verily a refuge of others. This slaughter that you, O Devi, multiplying your own form into many, have now wrought on the great Asuras who hate righteousness, O Ambika, which other goddess can do that work? Who is there except you in the sciences, in the scriptures, and in the Vedic sayings that light the lamp of discrimination? Still you cause this universe to whirl about again and again within the dense darkness of the depths of attachment. When rakshasas and snakes of virulent poison are, where foes and hosts of robbers exist, where forest conflagrations occur, there and in the mid-sea you stand and save the world. O Queen of the universe, you protect the universe. As the self of the universe, you support the universe. You are the goddess worthy to be adored by the Lord of the universe. Those who bow in devotion to you themselves become the refuge of the universe. O Devi, be pleased and protect us always from fear of foes. Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Bhagavati Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha.
Go back, tell the girls to go. Can you move away for a minute, please? He's just trying.
vanquished Devas, headed by Brahma, the Lord of Beings, went to the place where Shiva and Vishnu were. The Devas described to them in detail what had happened, the story of the defeat wrought by Mahasasura. He, Mahasura, himself had assumed the jurisdictions of Surya, Indra, Agni, Vayu, Kandra, Yama, and Varuna, and the other Devas. Thrown out from heaven by that evil-natured Mahisha, the ghosts and the hosts of Devas wander on the earth like mortals. All that has been done by the enemy of the Devas has been related to you both, and we have sought shelter under you both. May both of you be pleased to think out a means of his destruction. Having heard the words of the Devas, Vishnu was angry, and also Shiva, and their faces became fierce with frowns. Then issued forth a great light from the face of Vishnu, who was full of intense anger, and from that of Brahma and Shiva too. From the bodies of Indra and the other Devas also sprang forth a very great light, and all this light united together. The Devas saw there was a concentration of light like a mountain blazing excessively, pervading all the quarters with its flames. Then that unique light, produced from the bodies of all the Devas, pervading the three worlds with its luster, combined with one into one and became a female form. By that which was Shiva's light, her face came into being. By Yama's light, her hair. By Vishnu's light, her arms. By Kandra's light, her two breasts. By Indra's light, her waist. By Varuna's light, her shanks and thighs. And by Earth's light, her hips. By Brahma's light, her feet came into being. By Surya's light, her toes. By Vasu's light, her fingers. By Karuba's light, her nose. By Prajapati's light, her teeth came into being, and similarly by Agni's light, her 3 eyes were formed. The light of the two Sandhyas became her eyebrows, the light of Vayu her ears. The manifestation of the light of other Devas too contributed to the being of the auspicious Devi. Then, looking at her who had come into being from the assembled light of all the Devas, the immortals who were oppressed by Mahasasura experienced joy. The bearer of Pinaka, Shiva, drawing forth a trident from his own trident, presented it to her. And Vishnu, bringing forth a discus out of his own discus, gave her. Varuna gave her a conch, Agni a spear, and Maruta gave a bow as well as 2 quivers full of arrows. Indra, Lord of Devas, bringing forth a thunderbolt out of his own thunderbolt and a bell from that of his elephant, gave her. Yama gave a staff from his own staff, and Death and Varuna, the Lord of Waters, a noose, and Brahma, the Lord of Beings, gave a string of beads and a water pot. Surya bestowed his own rays on all the pores of her skin, and Kala, Time, gave a spotless sword and a shield. The milk ocean gave a pure necklace, a pair of undecaying garments, a divine crest jewel, a pair of earrings, bracelets, a brilliant half-moon ornament, armlets on all arms, a pair of shining anklets, a unique necklace, and excellent rings on all the fingers. Vishvakarman gave her very brilliant axe, weapons, various forms, and also an impenetrable armor. The ocean gave her a garland of unfading lotuses for her head and another for her breast, besides a very beautiful lotus in her hand. The mountain Himavat gave her a lion to ride on and various jewels. The Lord of Wealth, Kubera, gave her a drinking cup, ever full of wine. Shesha, the Lord of all serpents, who supports this earth, gave her a serpent necklace bedecked with best jewels. Honoured likewise by other Devas, also with ornaments and weapons, she, the Devi, gave out a great roar with this defying laugh again and again. By her unending, exceedingly great, terrible roar, the entire sky was filled, and there was great reverberation. All worlds shook, the seas trembled, the earth quaked, and all the mountains rocked. "Victory to you!" exclaimed the Devas in joy of her, the lion rider. The sages who bowed their bodies in devotion extolled her. Seeing the three worlds agitated, the foes of Devas mobilized all their armies and rose up together with uplifted weapons. Mahasasura, exclaiming in wrath, "Ha! What is this?" rushed towards that roar, surrounded by innumerable asuras. Then he saw the Devi pervading the three worlds with her lustre, making the earth bend with her footsteps, scraping the sky with her diadem, shaking the nether worlds with the twang of her bowstring, and standing there purveying all the quarters around her with 1,000 arms. Then began a battle between the Devi and the enemy of the Devas, in which the quarters of the sky were illumined by the weapons and arms hurled diversely. Mahasasura's general
If you're going to do the second part, let them do something with their hands.
Mahasasura, general, a great asura named Kiksura and Kamara, attended by forces comprising 4 parts, and others fought. Great asura named Adagra with 60,000 chariots, and Mahahuna with 10 million of chariots gave battle. The other great asuras, thousands in number, surrounded with chariots, elephants and horses, fought with the Devi in that battle. Mahasasura was surrounded in that battle with thousands of crores of horses, elephants and chariots. They began to strike her with swords in order to kill her, showering on her weapons and arms. The Devi, Kandika, very easily cut into pieces all those weapons and arms, without any strain on her face, and with gods and sages extolling her, the Ishvari threw her weapons and arms at the bodies of the Asuras. And the lion also, which carried the Devi, shaking its mane in rage, stalked among the hosts of the Asuras like a conflagration amidst the forests. The Sai, with Ambika engaged in the battle, heaved, became at once her battalions by hundreds and thousands. Energized by the power of the Devi, these battalions fought with axes, javelins, swords, halberts, and destroyed the Asuras. Of these battalions, some beat drums, some blew conches, and others played on tabors in that great martial festival. Then the Devi killed hundreds of Asuras with her trident, club, showers of spears, sword, and the like, and threw down others who were stupefied by the noise of her bell, and blinding others with her noose, she dragged them on the ground. Pierced in the breast by her trident, some fell on earth. Pierced all over by the arrows and resembling porcupines, some of the enemies of the Devas gave up their lives on the field of battle. And her carrier lion, thundering aloud with quivering mane, prowled about the battlefield, appearing to search out the vital breaths from the bodies of the enemies of the Devas. In that battlefield, the battalions of the Devi fought in such a manner that the Asuras, that the Devas in heaven, showering flowers, extolled them. And here ends the second chapter, called The Slaughter of the Armies of the Mahasasura.
getting some others, Mother. She's gone to get some others.
Come along. Barbara?
Barbara?
Where is Barbara? Now, as you are wearing very beautiful sari, you have to be good Guru Lakshmi. Alright? Very good Guru Lakshmi you have to be. Speak to your husband, kind to him, kind to children, kind to everyone. No.
Sally here? Is Sally here? Sally? Sally here? Sally is here.
young boy.
The sides is just the same. I'm such a proud mother. With all the flowers and all the Sahajayoga inside. And that is so well.
Mother, this took one man 3 years to make. Very beautiful work.
Real piece of art. It goes well with the sari. Thank all the Sahajogis from all over the world for such a beautiful shawl you have given me. The dynasty to which I belong were called as Shalivahan because they were the carriers of the shawl, Shalivahan. So you are all Shalivahan. Your surname should be Shalivahan.
The Australian Sahaja Yoga from all over.
Where's the ladies? All of them. Three saris for three goddesses, is it? For three different moods.
Shri Ganati.
One is blue, is left side, and then it's red, and then white. White is in the center, and the blue and the red. Very nice, okay. So then. This is pink for the love. It's white for purity. And the red of Ganesha. Thank you very much. So the color and then the border. This is the palla, and in the border you have the peacock. And the beauty of it, that I got it very cheap. All this is in real zari, and it's only I think 1200 rupees. All the animals are there. I think it starts with a butterfly, then becomes the elephant here, then it becomes the peacock, and ultimately the goddess. So that is the peacock too. So that's again the butterfly, I think, to give the balance. Like children it is, really. Perfect. Somebody else. You do something. No, let her do that. Unmarried boys can garland me. They are called as Kumara. Devi's another son, Kartikeya, was called as Kumar. Yes. Right. All of you should get to this side. Some people should come this side.
Let the
You
camera
have to move each other. Touch each other. Right? Very You are supposed to clap now. It's a problem I face is that time Oh, where did you get this one?
Judy found a special place in Bombay, was it, or Delhi? In Delhi.
Who found it?
Judy, mother.
When Shri Radha's
in the dwellings of the virtuous, and ill fortune in those of the vicious, intelligence in the heart of the learned, faith in the hearts of the good, and modesty in the hearts of the high-born. May you protect the universe. O Devi, how can we describe your inconceivable form, or your abundant, surpassing valor that destroys the Asuras, or your wonderful feats displayed in battles amongst all the hosts of God, Asuras, and others? You are the origin of all the worlds. Though you are possessed of the three gunas, you are not known to have any of their attendant defects, like passion. You are incomprehensible even to Vishnu, Shiva, and others. You are the resort of all. This entire world is composed of an infinitesimal portion of yourself. You are verily the supreme primordial Prakriti, untransformed. O Devi, you are Swaha, at whose utterance the whole assemblage of gods attains satisfaction in all the sacrifices. You are Svadha, which gives satisfaction to the manis. Therefore you are chanted as Swaha and Svadha in the sacrifices by people. O Devi, you are Bhagavati, the supreme Vidya, which is the cause of liberation. The great inconceivable penances are the means of your realization. You, the supreme knowledge, are cultivated by sages desiring liberation, whose senses are well restrained, who are devoted to reality, and have shed all the blemishes.
Now, please loudly. I hope you understand what he's saying.
You are the soul of Sabha Brahman. You are the repository of the very Ruh and Yanush hymns and Samans, the recital of whose words is beautiful with the Udgitas. You are Bhagavati, embodying the three Vedas. You are the sustenance whereby life is maintained. You are the supreme destroyer of the pain of all the worlds. O Devi, you are the intellect by which the essence of all scriptures is comprehended. You are Durga, the boat that takes men across the difficult ocean of worldly existence, devoid of attachments. You are Shri, who has invariably taken her abode in the heart of Vishnu. You are indeed Gauri, who has established herself with Shiva. Gently smiling, pure, resembling the full moon's orb, beautiful like the splendor of excellent gold was your face. And yet it is very strange that being swayed by anger, Mahasasura suddenly struck your face when he saw it. Far stranger is it that after seeing your wrathful face, O Devi, terrible with its frowns and red in hue like the rising moon, that Mahasasura did not forthwith give up his life. For who can live after beholding the enraged destroyer? O Devi, be propitious. You are supreme. If enraged, you forthwith destroy the Asura families for the welfare of the world. This was known the very moment when the extensive forces of Mahasasura were brought to their end. You who are always bounteous, with whom you are well pleased, those fortunate ones are indeed the object of esteem in the country. Theirs are riches, theirs are glories, and their acts of righteousness perish not. They are indeed blessed and possessed of devoted children, servants, and wives. By your grace, O Devi, the blessed individual does daily all righteous deeds with utmost care, and thereby attains to heaven. Are you not therefore, O Devi, the bestower of reward in all the three worlds? When called to mind in a difficult pass, you remove fear from every person. When called to mind by those in happiness, you bestow a mind still further pious. Which goddess but you, O dispeller of poverty, pain, and fear, has an ever sympathetic heart for helping everyone. The world attains happiness by the killing of these foes, and through these asuras, and though these asuras have committed sins to keep them long in hell, let them reach heaven by meeting death eventually at battle with me, thinking thus that you, O Devi, certainly destroy our enemies. Don't you reduce to ashes all asuras by mere sight? But you direct your weapons against them so that even the inimical ones, purified by the missiles, may attain the higher worlds. Such is your most kindly intention towards them. If the eyes of the asuras had not been put out by the terrible flashes of the mass of light issuing from your sword, or by the copious luster of your spear point, it is because they saw also your face resembling the moon and giving out cool rays. O Devi, your nature is to subdue the conduct of the wicked. This your peerless beauty is inconceivable for others. Your power destroys those who have robbed the Devas of their prowess, and you have thus manifested your compassion even towards the enemies. What is your prowess to be compared to? Where can one find this beauty of yours, most charming yet striking fear in enemies? Compassion in heart and restlessness in battle are seen, O Devi, O bestower of boons, only in you in all the three worlds. Through the destruction of the enemies, all these three worlds have been saved by you. Having killed them in the battlefront, you have led even those hosts of enemies to heaven, and you have dispelled our fear from the frenzied enemies of the Devas. Salutations to you. O Devi, protect us with your spear. O Ambika, protect us with your sword. Protect us by the sound of your bell and by the twang of your bowstring. O Kandika, guard us in the east, in the west, in the north, and in the south by the brandishing of your spear, O Ishvari. Protect us and the earth with those lovely forms of yours moving about in the three worlds, as also with your exceedingly terrible forms. O Ambika, protect us on every side with your sword, spear,
Shakti Mataji, Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah. Om Tvameva Sakshat, Shri Kalki Sakshat, Shri Adi Shakti Mataji, Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah. Om Tvameva Sakshat, Shri Kalki Sakshat, Shri Saraswati Swamini Moksha Pradayini Mataji, Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah. Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah. Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah. Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah.
Shri Nirmala Devi
Ki Jai.
Hello, Shri Adi Shakti Mataji, Shri Nirmala Devi
Ki Jai.
Jai Mataji.
Jai Mataji.